Hello, hope you're well. Welcome back to another YouTube video. Now this video marks the start of the new educational series that I'll be posting on YouTube. So make sure that you like, subscribe and share and click that little bell next to the subscribe button. So everything that you need to know about fat loss. Now fat loss itself is very simple. I'm sure that by now you know that you need to be in a calorie deficit. There's no other option. Let's say that your maintenance calories are 3,000. If you eat 2,800 calories, therefore in a deficit of 200, you will in fact lose fat. It doesn't happen overnight, but it will happen. And that is why I believe that patience and consistency are two very key values that you need to have if you want to be successful within achieving anything, but especially fat loss. So we've established that you need to be in a calorie deficit in order to lose fat. It's very simple. However, that does not mean that it's easy. For some it may be, but for others it is very difficult. And this is why there's a problem with fat loss. Can you lose a significant amount of fat and also maintain that? Because whilst losing fat is easy, losing body fat and maintaining your new body composition is not so easy. That is because people end up rebounding, their energy levels drop, their hormones change, their appetite increases, and they just don't feel good. Therefore they binge, rebound, and before they know it, they're unhappy with how they look again. So the first thing that I think is very important when it comes to fat loss is the depth of your calorie deficit. Nobody should jump straight into a deep deficit, because here is exactly where things will go wrong. Your energy levels will drop massively, a hormone called ghrelin will go up, and that will increase your hunger, so you'll be hungry all the time. You'll be very moody, and this will not be easy to sustain for a very long period of time. And that means that you won't lose body fat, because it takes time to lose body fat, even if you're in a deep deficit. So the deeper your deficit, the more unsustainable the process will be, the harder it will be to stick to. Therefore, as an online coach who has taken many of his clients through this process before, I would recommend that you do a controlled approach, meaning that over time, as you get leaner, gradually decrease your deficit. This will make it easier to adapt to, easier for your body to know what's going on, and easier to stick to. It will still be difficult, you'll still need patience and consistency to get good results, but this is the approach that you need. Now the first habit or behavior, whatever you want to call it, that I see in an overweight person who struggles to lose fat is that they're not very active and they have big portion sizes. It's as simple as that. They eat too much and they're not active enough. That is why they struggle to lose fat. Whereas you'll find someone who's fairly lean and they live a very active lifestyle and they just don't eat a lot of food. Therefore, more time they're in a deficit. So something that I believe will make the calorie deficit process a lot more efficient and easier to follow for overweight individuals or anyone looking to lose body fat is increasing their activity and overall expenditure. You're going to be expending more calories, therefore you can also eat more food. Let's say that you work a typical 9 to 5 job. Your only activity or traveling throughout the day is to and from work, and then you remain seated for the rest of the day. You may go gym after work, but believe me, that is not enough expenditure. You're most likely not even averaging 2.5k steps a day, which isn't a high amount at all. Let's say if you were to walk to work or walk to the gym, this would mean that you're not necessarily going out of your way to do cardio, and just like that you're increasing your overall expenditure. Let's say it takes you 2,000 steps to get to work and 2,000 to get to the gym. Every day for a week, you've just added 14,000 steps to your week. Now all you've got to do is eat less calories, and within time, within weeks, you will lose body fat, my friend. Now the next thing that I'd recommend that you start doing if you want to make this process a lot more sustainable is create better eating habits. Now what do I mean by that? I want you to prep healthy, nutritious, high protein meal options. Now prepping meals will not only cut your costs, it's a lot more convenient and it's simply healthier. You know exactly what your meals are made out of. You know exactly what goes into your meals, how much of everything is in there. You have full control, and I want you to pick nutritiously dense whole food options. Now when I see someone struggling with fat loss, the main thing that I look at is the fiber content in their diet, and 9 times out of 10 it is very low. People neglect fiber so much, and to me it's honestly crazy. Fiber is a very important and essential nutrient. It's essential for gut health, and fiber increases satiation, meaning that you'll be a lot more full. And foods that are high in fiber are usually lower calories. Look at brown rice for example compared to white rice. Brown rice also doesn't spike your insulin levels, and frequent spikes in insulin levels have been linked to increased hunger. So it all goes hand in hand. By creating these better habits, you're going to make things a lot easier for yourself and a lot better in the long run. Lastly, let's talk about training. Now, for some reason, when it comes to fat loss, people think that they need to train some sort of certain way. The only way that you should be training is to gain muscle, if your end goal is to actually look good, of course. Otherwise, putting yourself into a calorie deficit and not following a progressive training program will just make you skinny. No offense if you're skinny, of course. So you should be training as if your goal is to gain muscle. Although yes, we're in a calorie deficit, we're not going to be in the most optimal state to gain muscle. That does not matter. Our aim should be to maintain any muscle mass that we do have, and even potentially try to build, which will actually be possible in certain beginners, especially if you're overweight, you've got newbie gains going for you. As I say, the process won't be optimized, it won't be a very quick rate, however, it can be done. But either way, by following a progressive training program, you're still going to be burning calories, just as you would with any other type of training. Now, if you already do train for muscle gain and you're wanting to cut, then my recommendation would be to not change your training split at all. Carry on doing exactly what you were doing. What built the muscle will keep the muscle. Within time, you obviously will build up a lot of fatigue throughout your sessions, meaning that the volume and intensity that you were once able to apply in a surplus will be more difficult in the deficit. At that point, I would recommend to decrease training volume, not intensity. Remember, our aim is still to overload, so try to match your rep ranges the best that you can on every single movement. And that's pretty much all there is to it. If you have any questions, drop them down below in the comment section. I'll do my best to get back to you and explain something further or more in depth. But it's a very simple process, and these are the things that I believe are most important during this process. Now, if you're really struggling and you're unsure on how to do this process yourself, then drop me a message and we can have a chat. For coaching inquiries or training plans, click the link down below.